This week on Top Travel, Yanez is in Bazaruto, enjoying an outing on the beach with a horse who's found its sea legs, as well as a snorkel around the island's coral reef. Meanwhile, Jeannie is back in Cape Town to tour Robben Island, the former prison that once held one of South Africa's greatest icons.
Anantara Resort is one of those special places where you can do whatever you want to. It caters for every kind of holidaymaker. You can be one of, the people that loves to just lay on a beach and get sunburnt, or you can be like myself, that's an adventure lover. One of the fantastic options is you can go horse riding, and they've got the traditional Afrikaans boer horses. Domingos.
Hi, Sam.
The horse whisperer, how are you doing?
Very well, how are you, Sam?
I'm good. Domingos, I really wasn't expecting to find horses on this island.
Well, the horses was quite very easy. We brought them here by the barge, and South Africa to Vilankulos, we brought them by the track.
What type of character do these horses have?
Very calm, and I like them. They're very calm. I trust them.
And where are we taking these horses today?
We're taking them to the beach.
So we're going to go swimming with them?
We do, Sam. And they like to swim. They're
really?
Definitely very lucky. They like it so much.
They are the most incredible horses I've ever ridden. They're so calm and they listen to you. Do they have local people living on here?
There are local people here. Those local people, they've got a different language they're speaking with the mainland people.
Oh, really? What's the language called here?
They're calling Xitsonga.
Okay.
Yes, like a Shona.
And during the Civil War, did they use this island for anything?
They've been using.
For?
They've been using this island as a jail.
As a jail? Oh,
yeah.
wow.
They were catching people from the mainland and bringing them inside here.
Horses don't naturally swim, do they?
They don't. You have to train them.
So how did you train them to do it?
I trained them little by bit. So they're not used to swim where they are in South Africa. So to train them here, I used to take one by one horse and take them to the chalet by the beach here, and then just give them a little bit of water, yeah, and then take them back to the stable.
And
so
do they go quite deep?
They go quite deep now,
so
but before
we'll
they
have to take these leather saddles off.
Yes, we have to take the saddle off.
Bareback?
Bareback, yes.
What a setting to do it in, eh? This is incredible. Okay. Good boy, Rommel. Are you ready to go for a swim? Yes, fantastic. Good. So how do we take these saddles off?
Okay, you have to pull the belt. Yeah, just pull it up.
Pull it up?
Yes, please.
Great. And the other one too?
Yes, please.
Fantastic.
And then you just hold it from here.
Yeah.
Then put it down.
Fantastic, there we go. We didn't just take them into the water. We took them all the way into the water. I mean, the water was covering my chest by the end of it. And these horses were just lifting their heads, making quite a strange sound because they didn't want to get any salt water in their noses. But they'd listen to you and they almost enjoyed it. So we were walking these horses through the water. I've never done that before. And every now and then the horse would jump up on its back legs and then go back down. If you get off, they'd roll around in the water. I mean, imagine doing that. I never thought I'd be doing that on a horse. And I did it in Bazaruto, on a boerperd, a South African horse. Yeah, I mean, that's a completely different meaning to seahorse. That is what a seahorse should be. A boerperd swimming through water with a human on its back and then rolling around in the water. Love them horses. Nikki, who is this beautiful Canadian dive instructor from the resort, who also, I don't know, she probably had a degree in marine biology or something because she knew everything about everything. And she was passionate about this particular spot because I said to her, like, where can we go? She said, there's so many spots in Bazaruto to go diving, but the one place I'd like to take you to is Paradise Island. Because just off Paradise Island, they have this little reef, and for me, it's my playground. It's where I go and do my research. It's where I can spend hours simply to look at the different colors of coral and fish life.
So, welcome to Paradise.
It is Paradise.
Yeah.
What island is this behind us?
This is Santa Carolina Island. It's one of the 5 islands in the archipelago, Bazaruto archipelago.
Okay, and is this a protected area? Because I see there's a deserted hotel behind us, but other than that, there's no life.
Yeah, no, it's completely deserted. It's a protected area in the park, so it protects the marine life and the coral reefs.
Nikki, is there quite a large dugong population in these shallow waters?
Definitely, you can find dugongs here and all throughout the archipelago. You can actually find them a little bit north of here as well, and it is the largest population in the Western Indian Ocean. So around 200 dugongs can be found here.
And are they a threatened species in Mozambique?
Yeah, this is one of the main reasons that the park was established, was to help protect the dugongs. They usually live in shallow waters, so they're quite easy to find, and they often get caught in the fishermen's nets. So this area is protected, and we have local guards who monitor that.
We went there on quite a choppy day, and you know, when it's windy and the oceans are rough, it's a little more difficult to go snorkeling than on normal occasions. Yet we still enjoyed it thoroughly. I mean, she would take me down, we'd dive down about 5 meters, swim in amongst the fish and the coral, and she'd point out these interesting sights. And for me, that is a true experience. I mean, that's adventure. That's why you go to Bazaruto. You know, when you're snorkeling, for me, it's even better than scuba diving in a way, because you dive down, you come back up, you're getting a workout, but you're completely in touch with nature. It's just you, the ocean, you don't need anything. And that moment when it started raining and you could hear the rain through the water, for me, I was like, I'm completely one with nature now. I don't need any more than this. Going back on the boat, we were still going through this tropical storm, and I just, you know, my shirt was still off and I was out in the front of the boat, and this heavy rain was coming through and it was stinging me, it was hurting me. Like, these raindrops were heavy and they were digging into my back, but I loved it. And then I looked back and I saw everyone hiding underneath there. The captain was trying to steer the boat, everyone was trying to cover themselves up. And for me, I was just like, just give it to me. For me, the Bazaruto experience ended on the sand dunes. We headed off on horseback, going up and down these spectacular sand dunes. And when you get to the top of them, you can see the length of the island, and you can see where the island meets the ocean, the east coast, where the waves are pushing in. And that viewpoint from the top was just, it was magical. And that's the beauty of Bazaruto. Your dunes, the biggest in West Africa, the ocean, the resort, the wildlife, the fresh lakes, it has it all. We've got Mozambique right next to us on our doorstep in South Africa. And it's cheap, it's not expensive. We can fly there within an hour, you're in Maputo. From Maputo, you can head down south like we did to Porto Mamoli. And then from there, you can go up north. You can go up north to Pemba, but we went to Bazaruto. And everywhere you go, you're going to be guaranteed to have good weather, fun in the sun, great food, and just the ultimate in an authentic African experience.
Stay tuned. While Yanez enjoys Bazaruto, Jeannie is home in Cape Town to play tourist, visiting nearby Robben Island with a guide who's got the inside scoop, having once been an inmate himself.
Cape Town was voted as the New York Times best travel destination for 2014. Now, it could have been for various reasons, from the beautiful beaches to the great surf out at Muizenberg, the nature reserve at Cape Point, or could have been the escape to the winelands or the view from Table Mountain. But instead, it won because of one man, Nelson Mandela, and how he watched the city transform from Robben Island. Robben Island has been many things over many years. From a leper colony, it was also a mental institution, and even a World War II military base. But it gained its fame and notoriety as the prison where the most feared by the apartheid government was sentenced to life in prison. We're 20 years into our democracy. Why do you think that Robben Island is still so relevant to our history?
It stands for the triumph of the human spirit over adversity. It stands for people overcoming huge obstacles for the better of our whole nation. So there were a few men that were willing to sacrifice their lives in order so that the masses could have freedom. What we want to happen is when people go over to Robben Island, for them not to be the same when they return.
If you look at Robben Island from any of the lookout points from the city, it doesn't seem that far away, but it takes you about an hour and 15 minutes on the ferry to get there.
Hi, Jeannie. I'm Vusumzi. I'll be taking you through the prison.
Thank you, Vusumzi. Lovely to meet
Thank you.
The story is fortunately a story with a happy ending, as we all know. But the guides who take you around the prison are actually people who were imprisoned with Mandela at that time, which means they're able to give you play-by-play accounts of what actually went on. What was life really like on the island at the time that Mandela was there?
Okay, this is my cell where I stayed for some times. We were plus minus 50 in the cell.
50 people in this cell?
Yes. The beds arrived late. When we slept here, we slept on the floor. The beds arrived very late, and when the beds arrived, it arrived without mattress, without sheets, without pillows.
So why were you imprisoned on Robben Island?
I was arrested for Terrorism Act, Defense of Justice, Terrorism Act, and intimidation. We were 5 of us, we were all from Port Elizabeth. We were sentenced on the 4th of August 1978 to 15 years goes concurrent with 25 years. So all in all, I had to serve a term of 12 years out of my 15 years.
You were brought here as a political prisoner. So why were you then thrown in this cell with 50 other men, where men like Madiba got their own cell?
You must call people like Mandela and others, leaders of different political persuasions, could not be mixed with us according to their status and how the state viewed them as more dangerous than us. Hence, they were kept separately from us.
I can't imagine how these guides are still able to do that, how they're able to still live and work on an island where they were completely imprisoned before. I wouldn't be able to have that kind of freedom to be able to still see my captor every single day and talk about it quite openly.
This is the lime quarry prisoners used to work. And this is the place that prisoners were treated very ruthlessly. All the roads here were made out of this lime and the fine stones that are chopped by the prisoners. So the whole day you will be confined at this area.
It must have been incredibly damaging, because just standing out here now, the lime is reflecting so intensely in my eyes that I can barely even see.
Yes.
I mean, I know Madiba had eye problems, and I've noticed you've also got cataracts.
Yes.
Is that from years of sun damage, really, being out here?
Yes, this experience is from this place. But people also exchange views amongst themselves, and this is a place that also educate most of people informally and formally, because you take this informality to your sections where you actually will now do it in practice, what you are learned in the quarry. So this place has got a lot of memories, sad and good memories.
What is the significance of these stones?
This significance marks the day when Mandela came for the first time to come and attest about our conditions here. And this board behind us marks the event of that day, when Mandela put his first stone here and our stones followed.
I've been to Robben Island numerous times, but this was the first time that I'd gone since Madiba's passing, and it obviously held huge, significant value, but the whole time I just had this lump in my throat of trying to get an understanding of what life must have been like for him, and how someone so deserving really was treated so badly. So this is the courtyard where political prisoners would have to spend their hours during the day. What activities would occupy their time while out here?
They have to chop stones very fine and fill up buckets of this size. If they have not filled up those buckets, they will end at the punishment section to be given different punishment, which up from 3 meals without food. Their studies will be taken away, their visitors will be taken away, their letters will be taken away.
The political prisoners had to just break rocks every day, break rocks, break down walls, build walls, menial tasks just to break their spirit, where actually the hardcore criminals were almost rehabilitated. They were given education, they were given skills, they were taught things to better themselves and better their lives. They were treated so much better than the men who really could change the world.
Here is Mandela's cell.
This is it?
Yeah, this is Mandela's cell. And Mandela stayed 18 years in this cell.
This is so small. I mean, if you have to look,
Yes.
I'm a short girl. I'm not very tall at all, which means my arm span isn't very wide. It's tiny, and it's very suffocating in here. And this is the famous window.
Yes, Jeannie, this is the cell Mandela always peep through in order to look outside. And actually, his imaginations in most cases came from the cells where he actually planned most of his future. We'll describe this window as one of his place of memories. This is his bedding.
The guide had said to me, you know, have a lie down and see how you fit in this, because it's this awful little squashed bed in the corner. And, you know, for me, lying down there with such discomfort made me feel so much more emotional about, you know, imagining Madiba there, because he wouldn't have fitted from head to toe between one wall and the next, because he's so much taller than I am, and yet the cell is so small. When you think of how strong Mandela's mind must have been to be able to stay so positive and so focused in this kind of environment, that's where you can see how vital it is for everybody to come here and acknowledge, you know, the reality and the hardship that one man had to go through, which is why Robben Island is such a beacon for our country, so that we can totally understand our past, to accept and welcome a new future.
Yes, Jeannie, I cannot agree more than that. It is very true what you are saying. Unless a person has not gone through these conditions, he might not know that. But from your perspective as a human being, you were able to capture that a human being like Mandela has gone through.
Well, thank you so much for taking me around. This really has been such an incredibly moving experience. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
It's hard to believe Jeannie and Yanez's epic adventure has come to an end. When we come back, we're getting nostalgic, reflecting on the magical and downright hilarious moments of their whirlwind trip.
The Africa part of our journey started at home, sweet home, in gorgeous Cape Town, design capital for 2014.
And I always get nostalgic because, let's face it, Cape Town is the city where we first met, right? But besides that, we travel all over the world, only to realize that Cape Town's best.
Cape Town is the best city in the world. Take it from two people who love and live here.
This is just a glimpse into the unique mindset of your typical Cape Townian. I mean, nobody's ever questioned it. I've never known why, and it confuses me. Why is this highway unfinished, and it's been like this for so long?
What do you mean it's unfinished? I thought it was designed like this.
From the mother city through the Cape's most scenic wine region, for Jeannie, it was all about the ride. And so we journeyed on.
The highlight for me travelling through Route 66 from Cape Town was definitely getting to drive in one of the smoothest cars in the world. And then not letting Inez drive.
Was it Route 66 or was that the one in America? Is it Route 62?
It's the Route 62!
It is the Route 62.
Route 66 is in America.
Yeah, okay. It's a great highlight, though. We're just off the Route 62. We're still cruising in our beautiful car, and I love this part of South Africa. It is so picturesque. We've got these mountains, the farmlands. There's just so much to do. I think it's beautiful here.
Most visitors to this region would stop and do wine tastings all day, but because we want to be different, we've decided to harvest our own honey.
I'm allergic to bees, so naturally going into that beekeeping experience petrified, scared. I'm not scared of lions, elephants, rhinos, all those big creatures, but little bees, scaredy cat Yanez. By the way, you look like a dork in that big white.
I don't know if I'm allergic to bees as much as I'm allergic to that outfit.
Not sexy, eh?
It's a dangerous ordeal, though. And if the bees of Robertson bruised their ego, our feathered friends at Oudtshoorn gave Jeannie and Yanez good reason to prove their mettle.
The ostriches. How good was I on those ostriches? Do you still remember afterwards? I was so psyched up. I was pumping myself. I was like, come on, you're a machine. You know how to ride an ostrich.
Yanez, you know what? I don't know who won really, or who did better at riding the ostriches, but I'll give it to you. That was certainly your highlight, because you really are better at riding ostriches than what you are riding horses. Or playing with crocodiles, for that matter. I know that we really are big kids, but just before you're about to go swimming with crocodiles, anything will scare you. We didn't do that at the same time.
We share a brain. They're cool, eh?
Look, he's yawning.
Oh, nice! That's how scary it was. I had no idea that you could even do crocodile cage diving. That is a first for me. Shark cage diving, yo, everyone's heard of that. But crocodile cage diving? I guess only an ode to it. For me, the biggest difference between crocodile cage diving and shark cage diving is you can actually see a lot better. I mean, the water's crystal clear.
The biggest difference would be one is in a swimming pool and the other one would be in the ocean.
This is also a big difference.
It would be quite a big difference for me.
And also, the one's a crocodile and the other one's a shark.
Wouldn't have occurred to me. But with crocodile cage diving, I actually was a lot more scared than with shark cage diving, because a crocodile can almost get through those little squares. Wow.
I honestly feel like I've been fed to crocodiles.
Really, it's not natural to be this close.
Another extraordinary escape took us to the City of Fortune, where buried treasures had Jeannie resorting to desperate measures.
The big hole, Kimberly. I've still got all the diamonds that are... Oh, no, wait, I'm not wearing them. Where's my necklace?
Where's your necklace?
You took it back. Yeah.
Did I?
Kimberly is where you gave it to your other woman. Bastardo. Yanez did buy me a diamond necklace there and then gave it to his girlfriend afterwards. No class. Just between us, if I find a stone here, it's my finders keepers.
No, unfortunately not.
Swallow it. They'll never find it.
Just the other way, darling.
I think I know Jeannie's personality pretty well. And I know she's not really into manual labor. I've never seen Jeannie work so hard manually in my entire life. The fact that they dug this giant hole in the middle of nowhere and this town developed around the hole, phenomenal. It really is a part of South African history, a proud part of South African history, the diamond industry.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Bling.
Next week on Top Travel, Jeannie and Yanez continue their walk down memory lane, looking back on highlights from their European and African adventures. We relive Yanez's emotional journey to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, as well as the interesting history, fascinating culture, and incredibly good food our duo discovered while exploring Italy, Greece, and Estonia.